Welcome to Engage.Connect, the webcast series on pathways, innovation, and leadership, presented by the National Center for College and Career Transitions, NC3T. Hans Meeder, president of NC3T, a nationally recognized expert on pathways and author of The Power and Promise of Pathways, is your host. Let's join Hans for today's webcast.
Welcome. I'm Hans Meeder, President of the National Center for College and Career Transitions. Welcome to another session in our series of webcasts highlighting important innovations in education that relate to the Pathways movement. Let me discuss today's topic for a moment. We know from research conducted by Ferris State University that more than half of high school students say that no one from their high school actually helped them with considering career options. Among those who did indicate they received help, about 25% said it was from a teacher, and only about 20% said it was from a school counselor. We know that in many schools, school counselors carry an average caseload of up to 400 students with whom they need to meet, as well as carry out other school responsibilities. That's why we're going to hear today about an exciting initiative happening in the state of Arkansas designed to get more career information directly to students who need it most. It's called the Arkansas Career Coach Program. Let me introduce our presenter for this session. Our guest presenter for today's session is Sonja Wright-McMurray, who is the Associate Director of Career Technical Education Special Projects at the Arkansas Department of Career Education. She has served as the founding director of the Arkansas Career Coach Program since 2009, and she has devoted her career to addressing the college and career planning needs of students and adults. Sonja previously served as Director of Minority Student Services for the University of Central Arkansas, and other previous positions included Career Services Program Coordinator for the University of Central Arkansas, Academic Advisor for Simpson College Upward Bound, and Director of Simpson College Upward Bound. Sonja holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Psychology and a Master's of Education in Higher Education Administration from the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. She also holds a Master of Science in Rehabilitation Counseling from Drake University. Sonja, thank you so much for joining us today, and we'd love for you to tell us about the program.
Well, first, thank you guys again for including us in your webinar series. We are very excited to be able to talk about what's going on in Arkansas. As you mentioned, the Arkansas Career Coach Program is designed to assist students while they're still in the secondary school system to better explore the college and career opportunities that they may have available to them and how to best achieve those. So the program began back in January 2010 as a pilot initiative with the main goal and focus being how do we begin to impact those students that are currently in the pipeline that'll be going into the workforce so that they can be better prepared, more skilled for those jobs that we were seeing coming up in the future. Then many of our business and industry partners were expressing they didn't have a good employable base because many of the employees coming out just didn't have the resources, the education, the training to take the jobs that they needed in their business and industry and in their companies. So this was designed to be a partnership between our agency and other various agencies in the state that also had a vested interest in education and workforce development to get a better idea of how we can work together on one project to make sure that we're all moving in the same direction to get students and adults ready for the next level as it relates to economic development, college and career planning and training going forward into the future. So we developed a 4-component system. Most of our program that gets the most recognition is the college and career coaches. Those are considered the boots on the ground that are doing the actual work in the schools. But to assist them in being able to meet the measures that we have in place for them and to make sure that they are actually making an impact in the schools and in the counties that they serve, we also added in what we call enrichment programs which are 3 of our other components of the system, which helps the career coach to be able to reach students and to increase their opportunities to explore college and careers after high school. So as I mentioned, the college and career coaches are actually in the high schools. They are employed by 2-year colleges that are in the areas of the high schools that we serve. So the career coaches are employees of the 2-year colleges, but they actually provide their services in the middle and high schools to students to help them to explore college and careers and prepare for that while they're still in the secondary system. They work in great partnership with our career orientation or career development teachers. Beginning in the 8th grade, that's when our students in our state begin to put together that college and career plan that they're going to be working on throughout their secondary education experience. And then, as you mentioned before, many of our school counselors have a great desire to provide these services and these resources to our students, but unfortunately, they just don't have the time because they are so overloaded with the amount of students that they're serving and the responsibilities that they have. They just can't focus on this piece as much as they would like to. So our career coaches work in great partnership to identify those students that we consider to be what we call the middle majority, those students that aren't the most high achieving. They are usually aren't the students that are in the ALEs that are getting the additional resources or the alternative learning environments to have additional resources to succeed. They're the students that will typically graduate on time, kind of not cause a lot of trouble in the school, so they don't get a lot of attention. So they can graduate from high school without having had a good conversation as it relates to college and career, and then they get out into the workforce and are not quite sure what they want to do. These career coaches, we also say we want them to serve as career pathway specialists. So they help students to understand whatever career path that they want to go on, what is the best way for them to get there? What are those entry and exit points along the career pathway system that can help them to get the education and training that they need so they can be prepared to enter into those careers that they're most interested in. As you will see, there's a picture on this slide of students that are learning more about advanced manufacturing and the opportunities that are available in that career field, so students can explore areas that we know we need in the state and they can help them get a livable wage. One of the enrichment programs that I mentioned earlier, we have the ACT Academy. So within that first year of offering the program in our schools, we noticed that many of our students that were going into their senior year or were in their senior year had not had an opportunity to take the ACT or had taken it and did not score as high as they would like for reasons they weren't prepared, they didn't take it as seriously as they should have, they just didn't understand how to take the test, or just were not good test takers. So we developed a program to help our career coaches to assist students in increasing the ACT score and reducing the amount of students that were needed to go into remediation. So the identifiers that we looked at for these students is that they had to score below a 19 in English, reading, and or math. If they score below the 19 in math, it requires them to have at least taken Algebra 2 or currently be enrolled in the last semester to ensure that they at least had an understanding or working knowledge of that subject. Priority went to seniors, because we wanted to make sure we got those students captured as they were on their way out. We used the Sylvan Learning Instructional Model, a model that has had proven success, but it is a very expensive model. So many of our students, especially in our low-income areas of our state, just do not have access to that level of curriculum. And so we want to level the playing field for those students as well so they could find as much success as their counterparts. So this is something that we did to offer to them. And we also embedded in this program what we call our soft skills. So students had to make sure that they showed up on time, did all their work, and they earned points every day for those activities. Another enrichment program that we added to the College and Career Coach program in 2013 is what we call our Career Cluster Camps. This is designed to provide students with a broader opportunity to explore careers that may fall under a certain career cluster that they had not thought of before. So for example, if we have students that say, I'm interested in careers in health, many of them, especially in our more smaller rural communities, only health professions that they're usually exposed to may have been a doctor or a nurse. They weren't always aware there were several careers that fell under a career cluster that they could have exposure to and learn more about. So these are day-long workshops that we offer to our students. They are either offered at the high school campus or they're offered on the two-year college campus that partners with that high school. And we ask business and industry to come in and provide hands-on, interactive career exploration activities that students can see, touch, and feel and learn more about a day in the life of a person that works in those fields. It's designed as a breakout session type environment, so even though we may be focusing on our health careers, we may have 6 to 7 different professionals that are coming in. Students can rotate through those different careers, learn more about those opportunities, and really get a chance to see if what they thought about that career is what they really can anticipate, or there's some things that they didn't know that may change their mind one way or the other. One example we have is that students were able to work with someone who was in the field of surgery, and they brought in chicken's breast and pig's feet, and students were able to do incisions and soldering, and kids that got really excited about that, they figured out this is a pathway I want to go on. Some students that were a little squeamish about that activity kind of figured out during that activity, I may want to look at something else. But at least they're getting a chance to explore those opportunities early before they get too vested in a post-secondary program that really may not meet their needs when they've expended time and resources and funds, and they could be doing something else. Another great thing about this program is that those that participate, the business and industry, have agreed that they will serve as mentors to these students once they have got a chance to interact with them. So students are allowed to do follow-up interviews, do job site visits, job shadowing, just from this program alone. Another component that we added in 2014 was the Arkansas College Application Campaign. What we're finding is that we still have many students that were interested in post-secondary education, but didn't have a good understanding of all of the connective pieces that were required for them to successfully move to the next level. So they may have an interest in a college or a university, but had never visited that college campus or ever spoke to one on that campus. It would get late into the academic year, and they were still trying to figure out how to get the application submitted. Getting a good understanding of when that application was submitted, what were the follow-up activities that were required, even down to, we include in this as well as the financial aid discussion. Just because a school says it costs $10,000 to go there does not mean that's how much you're going to have to pay to go there. Students didn't understand that there's financial aid opportunities, that there's supports in place that can help them and their families to be able to afford a good post-secondary experience. And we were also able through this process to open the minds of many of our students to realize that 4-year is not the only option. There's 2-year options. There's many options that are available to you past secondary that can allow you to obtain a degree that can lead to a job that can be satisfying and can be interesting to you. And so through this process, students are able to be exposed to all of the college and all the college experiences that are available to them throughout a month or week-long activity. It depends upon the school district how they want to offer it. But within the final week of the program, career coaches work with the colleges and universities to have them to come in and do a special day for their students. And then at the end of that week, they actually get on the computer and submit applications to their top 3 choices. And in those top 3 choices, they must include a 2-year, just in case their 4-year option doesn't work out. If they decide they're going to move away from home and then they realize it's not going to work out for them, they have to submit that 2-year college application that is within their community so we can make sure our students have the best opportunity for success. And as you can see on the screen, students get a chance to do that. We provide little stickers for them to say, I applied, to kind of get them motivated to encourage their friends to come in and do it as well. But it becomes a really fun activity. Our faculty get involved, talking to the students about where they went to school, where they went to college. And this usually happens in the spring and in the fall. So then in the spring, we come back, and then those students that have gone through this process and have gotten their acceptance letters from their various colleges and universities, then the career coach does a school-wide signing day where they put up a big poster and students are able to sign next to the school that they have been accepted to. So the 2- and 4-year schools, public and private, are posted on the wall, and students are able to go and actually sign by their name, wear t-shirts, hats. They bring in their local media. Sometimes we get some of our state media to come in and cover it and make it be a really big deal for our students that they've chosen to further their education beyond high school. So as you may have noticed on that first slide, when the program was first started, it was 100% funded by Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, which is through, in our state, the Department of Workforce Services. And that was done because it was a pilot. We had to identify the most neediest areas first that should have received services so that we can try to make sure we make an impact in those areas first. But as time went on, those funds began to be reduced, not by any fault of our own or by the agency's fault, just because there were just some other needs in the state, and then there were some budget cuts that they experienced. So we had to become a little bit creative with how we funded the program and diversify those sources that we began to use, which we've gotten to now, we think is a better way for us to fund it, because it kind of makes sure that everybody has a little bit of skin in the game as we're putting this program forward. So initially, where it was 100% funded by TANF, school districts, the host to your college did not have to put any funds in towards this program. Doesn't mean they didn't support it as much, but it didn't hit their pockets, I would say. So we're at a point now to where our agency provides funding to support the program through 2 of our departments, through our public school funds, and then also through our Office of Skills Development, which is designed to provide skill training and education in secondary and post-secondary learning. The Arkansas Department of Higher Education also uses some of their Perkins dollars, and then also are participating to your colleges. They also put forward some of their dollars to support the day-to-day operation of the program as well. And then school districts now contribute to the project. So the way the funding and grants are done, because this is a grant-funded program, the college campus that is the host for this program, they submit the application on behalf of the school district that they're planning on serving. And then the school districts, in order for them to be able to participate in this process, they have to put in at least half of salary and benefits. Our agency covers the other half of salary and benefits. The college covers the travel, training, communication supplies costs that are associated with the program administration. And then our agency also offers funds to support the ACT Academy, the Career Cluster Camps, and then the college application campaign. So it really is a partnership that we have among all of our groups, and this is a model that we have become very pleased with, and we think it does provide the most resources for everyone. So as I mentioned before, we do have measures that we have the career coaches to be required to be evaluated against. So what we do is we annually look at how are the career coach programs doing compared to the state. So we look at our county data. So all the school districts that are within a county, we pull that data, and then we compare all of those counties combined against the state. So when we look at the data from the beginning of the program, and we look at the data prior to career coaches being in the schools, we wanted to see each year at least a 2% increase on all of our measures, except for ACT, where the former director of higher education, he set that standard at 0.1 point increase on the composite. So as you can see, we have been successful up to the most recent data that we have available for us, each of the measures up to 2015, in meeting and exceeding all of our goals. And we didn't just meet and exceed all of the goals for our program, but we also exceeded the increase that the state saw during that same time period. So what we've been able to gather from that is that having a career coach in the school, providing that additional resource support, communication with students on a regular basis, providing additional programs to support those efforts really makes a difference. And we see that those counties that are not served, which is represented by the state rate increase, even though they may have had an increase during the same time period, it was just not as substantial as what we were able to see for the programs that we served.
Nope.
Okay. So when looking at lessons learned or challenges, I would recommend that if you are looking at offering or implementing a program such as this, really get the school districts and your local area involved as early as possible. I will say when this program was first rolled out, there were a lot of great communication and a great level of planning at the state level, and then we rolled the program out. So we had to do a lot of relationship building as we rolled it out because many local programs felt like that they just didn't have the voice that they needed to have. So at this point, we have created a statewide advisory committee where we have school districts and two-year colleges on that committee, and they provide feedback to us on how the program is going and recommendations on things that can change to be better for their implementation in the field. Clearly define what you will and will not allow to happen in the program. Because we want the program to be as flexible as possible at the local level, we sometimes found that school districts and colleges got really creative in what they thought career coaches should and should not be doing, and it began to get away from the true intention of the program overall, which we were concerned may be difficult to show the growth that we needed to. So making sure that those do's and don'ts are clearly defined early gives you a chance to really address that before the problems develop. And then identifying a sustainable funding stream. It took us a while to get to the model that I shared with you earlier, where we had shared costs among all the entities that were involved. So for a while there, we were on a year-to-year determining how the program was going to be funded. And in doing that, we weren't able to keep a lot of the good people in place because of the uncertainty of the funding. A lot of people that were really good career coaches and provided a lot of good services would find other jobs, not because they didn't enjoy the work they were doing, but just because it wasn't very steady. And so I would say that as you're rolling out your program, identify early within that rollout process how you're going to assist the program financially once it gets up and going.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much, Sonja. That was really helpful and informative. Congratulations. I have a couple of follow-up questions I wanted to ask you about. One, you talked about the ACT program, and I wanted to get some clarity on that. When is that typically offered to the students?
Okay, great. Thank you so much for the question. We offer the class 2 weeks leading up to the actual ACT test. And the class is offered in the evenings after school and on weekends. So starting at about 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and then for 4 hours on a Saturday and 4 hours on a Sunday, right up to that test. And we do a pre-test to determine where students' skills are. And then we kind of group them based on their level of knowledge in the specific areas. So teachers have an opportunity to teach at a good pace. And then they do a post-test right before that final exam to make sure they're ready for the test on that Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. With your career camps, what time of year are those run?
Those are run throughout the year. We try to allow those to have as much flexibility as possible to what works out best for the school district. We have to work around testing and all the other facets that come in, because typically we do like for them to have them at the college just because they have a little bit better resource to have exposure to some of those areas. And it gives the students an opportunity to get off their campus in a different environment. But they're offered in the fall and the spring. We've seen them work best either way. There's not a preference on how those are offered.
I see. But those are typically offered during the school day so that students, it's basically like an all-day field trip that the students are taking.
Yes, it is. And then we provide funding to the program so that they can provide a lunch while the students are off campus. But yes, it is something that happens. They start in the morning and they go to the afternoon and have them back on campus in time to catch the bus.
Okay, great. All right, so getting back to the role of the career coaches, what kind of training do you provide to the career coaches, and is there a particular type of skill set or background that seems to be a good fit for that role?
Sure. So all of our career coaches at a minimum have to have a bachelor's degree. We do not have a required degree field. We do give preference to those individuals that have had some experience with the college process, worked in admissions, worked in financial aid, have been a recruiter for a college campus. But we've really seen career coaches come from all backgrounds. It's more if you have that personality to have a passion for students and wanting them to succeed, that works really well. We also require all of our career coaches to either have or if they don't have it, once they're hired, the career development facilitator certification. And that is something that we provide to them if they don't have it. It is a 120-hour online course that they take. It provides a lot of good resources and background on career development theory, has some pieces relates to career counseling, so they can have that understanding of how the process works when you're working with the individual and helping them to do career exploration. And then within our own office, we hold annually 2 major trainings that provides them with all the information they're going to need about the college planning process. And then because we're in CTE, we provide all the resources they're going to need as it relates to career pathways, any changes that are in place, so that they can relay the most accurate, recent information to students on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Is one career coach per building high school enough, or do you feel like sometimes you wish you had more per high school?
In some cases, we do have more than one career coach in a high school or in a middle school setting combined. What we do is we look at the district enrollment, or that school's enrollment, the high school enrollment for grades 9 through 12. And we allocate one career coach per 500 students. So for every 500 students that are in enrollment from 9 through 12, that school will be awarded a career coach. And then we go from there. If it's 750, they get a 1.5 career coach, then 1,000 will get 2. So it just depends on the school size, how many staff people will be involved in that process.
Okay, great. So if in another state, a school is considering doing something like this, do you have any particular advice that you would give to that school district or that regional partnership?
As I mentioned before, communication is key, because you want to make sure that everyone is brought to the table and has a voice in the process. For example, when we are going through the hiring process for a career coach, we require that at that 2-year college, even though that they are the employer, that they have to have somebody on that interview panel from the school district so that they can have a voice in who's going to be in their school providing those services and those resources. And keeping that communication ongoing. So once the person is placed in the school, it's not a matter of, okay, now you're assigned there and you just kind of go with it. We also require that our 2-year college supervisor, and that person serves as the liaison. So the 2-year college also agrees that they're going to assign someone that works for that campus to be the supervisor and the liaison for that program. And we ask that they have no less than 2 sit-down meetings a year. So typically in the spring and in the fall, they'll have that conversation to make sure everything is going well. And if not, how do we make sure the program continues to work for that district? So communication is the biggest part that we see that makes a successful program and ensures that it gets started correctly and that it's implemented properly as well.
Okay, great. And the final question is, are there any improvements or changes to this initiative that you're considering for future years?
We are currently in the process of revising our performance measures. When those initial measures were set, they were set with, I would say, an all good intentions of wanting to make a great impact in those areas that we know we're challenged within our state, especially when it relates to college going and preparation for post-secondary education. But the challenge that we found is that the measures that were initially set for the program, the career coach could have some impacts, but didn't really have that much of an ability to make that impact. So if a student was not adequately prepared to take the ACT because they didn't have the subject matter knowledge, that was something the career coach couldn't really control for. So what we're doing now is we're going back and we're looking at what are those things that career coaches are doing in the schools that can make the impact that we would like to see, and that they can actually have some control on the results. So we're looking at, for example, with our industry certifications, we're not having as many students pursuing those as we would like. And we think it's because students just are not aware of what's out there and how they can get those industry certifications while they're still in secondary or right when they're graduating. They can help them get a better job. So the career coaches are going to be evaluated on how many students are getting to become interested and to pursue those certifications so we can get those students that are getting involved, get those numbers up so we can see a higher turnout on the end of those receiving.
Great. All right. Are there any final thoughts you wanted to share, Sonja?
No, I would just say that this has been a great program for our state. We have really seen a lot of growth in a lot of areas that traditionally for us have been challenging in our Delta region of the state, which is a very high poverty rate. Many students that in the past would not have considered going on to post-secondary education or trying to obtain any type of training after high school are now having their eyes open to exactly what's available to them that's outside of their community. So we're really seeing a culture change in a lot of our school districts and our communities that, for one, that four-year degree is not the only path to success after high school, and that there are many options and opportunities if that's the path that you want to go on to successfully to be able to prepare for that and to pay for that, even if your family is not in a position where you thought that they would be able to do that. So we're really changing a lot of minds and mindsets and the culture, which is something that we're really excited about.
That's very exciting. Congratulations, and thanks for sharing with us. So for our viewers, just make sure to take a look. You can get more resources about pathways and employer engagement and STEM leadership by going to nc3t.com, our store. And you can also go to pathwaysherpa.com, sign up for my weekly blog aimed at leaders who are implementing Pathways programs and systems. And then I'm going to share with you Sonja's contact information here, and I'm sure she'll be happy to share more details about how they do things with their Career Coach program. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us today at Engage.Connect. We invite you to join us for our webcast series as we seek out and share best practices in pathways development that you can learn from and apply. Learn more by visiting us at www.nc3t.com.